Hey everybody, welcome to another video. My name is Elric, and in this video, I'm basically going to be making t-sql, Microsoft SQL, create MySQL objects, tables more specifically, for my GoDaddy VPS hosting, blah, blah, blah. Basically, I am getting away from WordPress, I am learning React, and I want to use my master data management model. But you see, master data management is a centralized truth. So the system that I've built in this series that I've worked on is my central truth. It's backed up. It is my core copy. So I'm going to make it build objects for MySQL. I'm going to make it push data to MySQL and not copy all of the object creation code in MySQL, because why would I want to waste that time? I've already built a system that does it. So really interesting concept. Once you get that model set up, even at home, you have this ability to just like spin it up anywhere. So that's what we're going to be doing in this video. Right after the intro, we are going to make Microsoft SQL create MySQL tables. I'll see you soon. Alrighty, so there are some differences between MySQL and t-sql, Microsoft SQL. Whoa. Not many, but there are data type differences. How you declare a table will make the text, the ability to store, and varchar doesn't exist in MySQL. So the code that I have right here, I'm just going to go over it. You know how I work, couple cursors, and it does something specific, and more, we'll see the output and we'll look at what is happening. So standard declare variables, what I have going on, most of this stuff is to get the information schema for the particular table that I'm looking at. And a couple of these other things, there's, do I have a comma? The first record doesn't have a comma, everything else does. So I got to figure out where I am in the iterative process to make sure that I'm comma delimiting the appropriate things. So the first cursor, I am hard coding right now for this video the database, and I have a specific order in which we're going to create the tables, because when you think of how our hierarchy works, our ERM, if you like, or ERD, I guess, is realm have no parents, class has a realm parent, family has a class parent, type has a family parent, base has a type parent, shared attribute usually has a base parent, and everything else is just like whatever. So that's where my order by clause comes into place. I want to make sure that I'm creating all the realms, then creating all the classes with the appropriate foreign keys and all the families and then types and then the base tables. So if I run this code, this select statement right now, you can see that I'm just, like I said, all my realms, classes, families, and their dataset IDs. I'm using the dataset name to make sure that I get the actual type of the column from SQL, because I use user-defined types. And that's not something I'm going to do in the destination in MySQL, because this is my master data management system. This is the center of it all. And it can push to wherever I want it to, however I want it to. But I'm going to make SQL do all the work. I'm going to make SQL build my API, and I'm going to make SQL execute Python in the next coming videos. So this is these are the tables that I'll be creating today. I've already created them, but these are the tables that I'll show you the scripts. So it's just that select statement. Pretty simple. Make sure that the data set is a table. Make sure that the subjects actually exist, because I need to get some other information. Sorry. And then order by the actual relational hierarchy, so we don't get foreign key errors. So it's not trying to create a table as a foreign key to a table that hasn't been created yet. Now, I'm basically printing out the MySQL script, and I'm going to run this real quick, and then I'll go back to the code itself. So this is basically what my script looks like. I have the create table, I have the columns, I have constraints being filled in where appropriate. All of my user-defined types are now back to varchars, big ints, and instead of identity, auto increment. And if I just kind of go to the middle of this, you'll see that I even got my foreign keys processing and all set up, even 2 foreign keys for the shared attribute tables. So how I'm doing that is during the iteration of the column, because I'm going two cursors. One is the data set and the other one is the data point. So in the data point iteration, I'm saying create this, or in the data set iteration, I'm saying create this table. And then the data point iteration, I'm saying print out the column name, space, what data type is it? There's no nvarchar in MySQL, it's varchar. Decimal, we need to get the precision and the scale. There's no datetime 2 in MySQL, there's datetime. There's no bit in MySQL, there's Boolean. And there's basically no max, so I have to make sure that I'm declaring specific things. Actually, yeah, because there is no max, I'm saying either give me what you have defined in your max character length, or if it is max, being it's -1, I'm just setting it to 15,000 right now. I don't think I have anything that big because we don't store data like that. We send data out, but we don't store it like that. So it would be column data type. Is it nullable? Column data type null, or column data type not null. And then if it's a primary key, I need to use auto increment because identity11 is a t-sql thing, not a MySQL thing. And then finally, I want to make sure that if it does, let me just squeeze this down a little bit. If it does have a default, not a null one, but if it does have a default, I want to make sure that I'm bringing that default forward so I don't have to worry about the specific data set number and that sort of physical modeling, because in a different video, I can just say, all right, send all my indexes forward. So you get the proper unique and physical modeling tools that I need. So this really gives me a dev environment that I'm pushing outward to not the same flavor of SQL. After the column is spit out, it's basically going to say, hey, you know what? If you are a primary key, then you should spit out 2 lines. So in that data point cursor, then, create your constraint. Constraint pk underscore the dataset name, just like we're doing with master data management. We're trying to bring those naming conventions forward. Primary key and the column name it's referencing. And the second piece, as we're going down, if it's a taxonomy or foreign key parent, please make the foreign key constraint. So that is this piece, constraint, FK, our naming convention, which is the dataset name, then followed by the destination or what we're referencing. And in MySQL, it's constraint, the name, foreign key, what column, references, the table and its column. And then we have to do some weird stuff. I don't fully understand it, but on delete restrict, on update restrict, I guess you can actually tell it this way to ignore foreign key constraints. So I want to make sure they're on, which is going to force me to deploy in a very specific order. I could leave them off. I could just send data out there, but kind of the idea is to not bi-directional replication, but I want to make sure that I can push all the system data out there and have my different applications record data and never interfere with that data. So you can have my other data, right? My recipe data, any user logins, any user created recipes, I can have on my site and then bring it back to my main master data management system. And that is basically it, closing out the single table with the engine and making sure that we can support UTF-8 character sets. Pretty simple code, really. So running this, 214 tables, I guess. All the scripts to create that. For now, I just copied this, pasted it, ran it against MySQL, which I have right here. You remember this is on my site. I'm just using my workbench. So I have these are these are the views. These are the tables. I have all my tables created. So it's really cool to look at that, to think about how we have master data management is all about centralized truth, all about this one location to do everything in. It can hold any sort of data because no business is different than another business. They all just store data. It's not like, what does the business need to store? They're going to grow, they're going to change, we're going to store data. This one model just stores all the data, whether you want to or not. It's just how it works. Lineage, all that crap. So we have this centralized model and we're using it to create objects elsewhere. I could create another script that can do it for Postgre, and I can move it farther. In a couple videos, you'll see me pushing data via Python inside of Microsoft SQL. So I can create a Python script to send this script to my destination. Like, I can eliminate the human interaction. Do I want to? Sometimes it's just easier to copy and paste, really. So I really hope you like this video. Next video, we're going to do the same thing for views because MySQL doesn't have synonyms. So we're going to have to still bring our same methodology forward, but it's going to look a little different because we have to use views instead of synonyms. But then, after that, I'm going to make Microsoft SQL build most of my API, my Node API. So a lot of fun stuff ahead, extending out this master data management system. And hope you enjoy. Don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, and notifications, and all that other YouTube fun stuff. Have a good one, and I will see you next time.